In this week's video, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite species, the wild turkey, what they're doing, and the whys.
Mossy Oak Properties, where outdoorsmen find their favorite place.
As I mentioned in the intro, one of my favorite species is the wild turkey. Mm-hmm. One of the worst things that could happen to me, amongst many things, it would be losing my hearing. I think I'm on that track anyway, but no, to hear a bird gobbling in the spring, and that connection that you connect with a bird like that, you know, it's just amazing. But again, just like the white-tailed deer, turkeys are doing a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the turkey world right now. Mm-hmm. Gobblers are probably still strutting around in a different way, feeling pretty good about what they accomplished for the species during the spring. And of course, transitioning in from late spring to early summer, hens are on nests, or this time of year, trying to bring a brood of poults into the world. Yeah,
and just like its male counterpart, the white-tailed deer, the gobblers are out there just hanging out with their buddies. While again, it falls on the mamas.
That's right.
To raise up the young.
Yeah, this time of year it's all about habitat. Obviously, two different types, nesting and brooding. And we're going to start with nesting, where it's important for a hen to have good quality cover where she can lay her first clutch of eggs. And what's really cool about the hen is her biology, and that she actually gets a couple opportunities to hatch a successful clutch.
It is incredible. One breeding from a gobbler, she can store that semen. And she could have up to, I believe, 2 or 3 clutches, if need be.
Right.
If first nest attempt fails, she can go to the store, ask for some more. It's funny. It's just amazing how resilient, just like the white-tailed deer, how nature can overcome certain things. And we talked about nesting, how important nesting cover is. And again, we will beat this horse to death. The things that you are doing in the months of January, February, March, and a little bit of April are how crucial it is to your property success in wildlife survival.
Right. Yeah, the work that you do during the early part of the year, this time of year is really rewarding for me, whether I'm out on the property doing some work or just driving around, because I can see all this quality food and cover that I created. When I'm out in a certain habitat type, in a timber stand where I've done some thinning, some cutting, some timber stand improvement, or out in a clear cut, and I see a fawn, or I see a turkey nest, or I see some poults running out in front of me, it's really rewarding to know that the wildlife that I'm managing for is benefiting from the work that I done 6 months ago.
Yeah, and quality nesting for a wild turkey can be just almost similar to a white-tailed deer. You know, where the fawns are, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's in a multiflora patch, it's in a winter rye field, it's in clover, it's in many places. But having a very diverse patchwork on your property can allow those hens to have successful nest attempts. It is the quality of the cover that will get those hens from not being depredated on the eggs. You know, so, and that leads us to, she has them, you know, the little puffballs. But one thing that is very crucial for the survival of the turkey poults is brooding habitat. Yeah,
nesting habitat is step one. And most hens, whether it's the first or second attempt, will have a successful hatch. But the most limiting factor of habitat types for the wild turkey, and what can really be attributed to the decline of the wild turkey across a lot of their range, is the lack of the next type of habitat, which is brooding habitat. There's often good nesting habitat, kind of the thicker, the better. Where you find fawns, you'll find a turkey nest, blackberry bushes, like you mentioned, thick native warm season grass stands. But the next habitat type, brooding habitat, is the limiting factor, but the most important habitat type for raising poults.
Yeah, as Cody mentioned, brooding habitat is very important. And it kind of, to sum it up, it's food that equals cover.
Or cover that equals food.
I like food that equals cover. But anyway, why is that? We want, or what is brooding habitat? It is bare underneath.
Bare soil.
Bare soil, that way the poults and other wildlife species like quail, you know,
grouse chicks.
Grouse chicks, like, pick songbirds, pick a bird, you know. That way the young can get around when talking turkey poults. That way if a predator's after it, it can escape without tripping and falling prey to it. And then we have all this just cover around it.
Umbrella plants.
Yeah, just imagine yourself walking through a woods. That's a turkey poult.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking through a goldenrod field, an old field type environment.
Right.
So, and then you have the clovers, you have the food, you have, and especially in a turkey poult's time frame, in like this month, protein.
Bugs. Insects.
Yeah, and that old field type habitat, for example, good brooding habitat, offers all that.
Yeah.
Cover that equals food.
Yeah, I like that analogy a lot that you said, where humans walking through an open, mature state park like a forest where we can easily navigate, but we still have security overhead to protect us from predators. The same visual, the same fundamentals and principles apply to brooding habitat. Bare soil, so the chicks' poults can easily navigate. High protein food source in the forms of bugs and insects, and then that structure, umbrella plants, for security from avian predators or whatever four-legged critter might be after, as you said, the little puffballs.
Little puffballs. But to sum it up, nail all this home, having diverse habitat species on your property, old field, early successional, great brooding habitat, even some old food plots you just decide to let go idle, like your sorghum field, your sunflower, your rye. You know, just let those go idle and address it for fall food planting. Great brooding habitat. The wild turkey population is some, regionally, of course, and even in a county, how micro it can be, but the population is maybe on the decline.
Yeah.
And everything that we can do, yes, there's trapping, but habitat does fall. It is a management tool in the management toolbox, and we should be doing it the best we possibly can. Yes, trapping, but producing good quality habitat, nesting, but more importantly, brooding habitat.
That's right, that was really well said. And to tie everything together, the same principles that we talked about with white-tailed deer, all wildlife in general, and that we've talked about in prior videos apply to turkeys, nesting habitat, and brooding habitat. Diversity, quality cover that equals food, and tying all those things together, making intentional management decisions will only increase the number of wild turkeys on your property.
Mossy Oak Properties, where outdoorsmen find their favorite place.